Sorry, my water softener thing is making noise over there. It's whatever it's doing, regenerating. Anyway, so here is Zane. He had stomatitis, and I suspect that he had Giardia. I have a lot of cats, so Giardia has been a real pain in the ass. But I'm going to show you. I'm just treating him because he's the only one that's really being affected by it now. I tested a bunch of other cats, and it can be quite expensive if you have a lot of cats. And I mean, for example, you go to the vet, they're going to charge you $80 just to walk in there without anything, just for the visit. And then you take into effect that pay another $80 to $90 just for the test. So you look at $160 right there, and now you look at medication. It's going to be $250 easy, minimum probably, if you go to the vet for Giardia now. What I have here is, I'm going to show you the cheapest way to do it, I guess. And I'm just a regular person here, but like for example, the litter box. Let me back this up a little bit. The litter box, I use the liners because every time a cat poops, you got to throw out the litter. Okay, so you get like the elastic liners, you fill it up. I poke a hole into the side that way you get the air out, and you throw the pellets in there. These 40-pound bags cost about $7. All right. At the pet store, you want to make sure it's bedding for horses and stuff like that. It's safe. Make sure it's no additives, stuff like that. And then, of course, you have like rescue wipes. Like if I see poop on the floor or something like that, I'll use vinegar and water to clean it up. Use gloves, obviously. And then you use the rescue wipes. Of course, you need a scale. For example, like for Giardia testing, I use this place. It's called A Pet Care Online. It's very simple to use. It's got this thing in here. It's very easy. You can see it. It comes out to maybe, I don't even know, $5, $6 a test, maybe maximum $8 a test. Yeah. Now, usually when you treat a cat for Giardia, they're going to put them on Panicure. Now, you could buy this on Amazon. Right here. This is for a 10-pound animal. It usually says for dogs. It's the same stuff. It's for cats as well. This is 22% Panicure, or fenbendazole, whatever it's called. Same thing. Now, you can also go online and get a brand like this. Now, the problem with this is, it's a liquid dewormer, but the problem with this is only 10% strength. So if you go to a vet, for example, for Zane, he's almost 10 pounds, or excuse me, he's almost 12 pounds. So this here is, when you do a cat, say, for example, Zane is 12 pounds. This says you give a cat 0.23 milliliters per pound. So he's nearly 12 pounds. You're looking at about 2.7 milliliters of this. Now, if you go to a vet or something, it'll be stronger. Like this stuff here. Although you don't need to go to a vet for this. This is 22%. So what I'm saying is, if this here was 22%, it would be like 1.4 milliliters instead of 2.6. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. Now, the real pain in the ass is Zane has no teeth. So it's very hard to give a cat liquid stuff that they don't like the taste of. It's just going to fall out of their mouth. So I had to get creative with him. And these are 1 gram packets, all right, for a 10-pound animal. So what I had to do was, I put like, not even half a teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon of this stuff in a bowl, and then I mixed in this and stirred it up, and I put it on I left it on the spoon. I put it on the spoon, and he licked it up. But now he's another 2 pounds heavier, so I had to add this, because like I said, this is only for 10 pounds. So I needed to come up with 2 more pounds to accurately give him the right dose. So I gave him basically 0.5 milliliters of this, and I put it in this mousse again, and he lapped it right up. So he got his correct dosage. Now, they also have 20 pounds for this, which would be 2-gram packets. Like say, if you have a 20-pound cat, then you're great. You know, and it's also cheaper that way. Or you can probably even measure it out. Buy a scale, it'd be a lot cheaper. Say, and they also have a 30-pound for this, and it's dirt cheap. And like I said, you could probably get a scale, and say you got the 30-gram packet, you could get a scale, pour it on the scale, and split it up 3 ways. You know, be a lot cheaper because you're going to go through it anyway. You know, but I'm just saying, I just do it this way. It's easier. I don't have to measure it out. But if I really had to, I would get the 30-pound packets, not the 10-pound, and just use a scale, you know. But like I said, this is just easier, and it's a lot cheaper than going to the vet. And then you got, of course, little wipes for his rear end. You want to wipe their butt. And what you could even do is trim like the back of their legs and trim their tail. And then use these wipes. Wear gloves, of course. So that's pretty much it, I think. Like I said, Giardia is kind of a pain, but this is the cheapest way to do it. You don't have to keep going to the vet. And then, like I said, you could do it like a 7-day course of this panic cure, or want to do a 5-day course, don't matter. And then retest them, you know, a few days later, even a week later. It's still a lot cheaper than going to the vet. I mean, you could retest them 3 times. It's only going to cost you maybe $25. You go to the vet, and it costs you a shit ton of money. So, yeah, and paper towels, of course. But and what I do is, unfortunately, I got this flooring in the garage. It's polysporadic flooring, or polyaspartic flooring. And unfortunately, you can't steam it. So what I'm doing right now is I put towels down for him just to cover the floor up. And if I find poop on there, you know, I change these out every day. I change out his water bowl and his food bowl. And then you also have this stuff here. These are also wipes. Chlorhexidine 2%. You can also put that on their rear end. That kills Giardia, or at least gets it off their fur. We want to make sure they don't lick, but yeah. And another thing to do is on the last day of dosage, make sure you wipe down the rear end, and maybe wipe down their fur a little bit. Not with this stuff here, but maybe some body wipes for cats. Just something to try and get any lingering Giardia that might be on their fur. And I know it's a real pain, but sorry about the long video. Maybe I should try and shorten it up. But why is my scale on? Jeez. No wonder the battery keeps dying. Anyway, this is day 5 for him. So I'm going to do a 7-day course because his diarrhea was pretty bad. And I think he's had Giardia for a while. And as far as probiotics, there's this brand called Vet IQ. It's very similar to Purina Pro Plan Fortiflora, but you can go online on eBay and buy them for like $6, $6 to $7 for a 30-day supply. In the store, they're probably like $23, $24, and you know, Fortiflora is like $33 now, I think, for a 30-day packet. So you can go on eBay or something like that and get Vet IQ for probably $6 or $7 for a 30-day supply. And it's basically the same thing as Fortiflora, and that's better for Giardia. All right. I think that's everything. All right. Bye.